Alright, so let's talk about cars. Let's talk about fast cars, practical ones, fuel-efficient cars, and most importantly, cars that make you feel stuff. Because that's really the point of why you watch these types of videos on YouTube, right? I mean, apart from the fact that you're looking for your next car, what the best value car is, you guys actually want to watch these types of videos because you just love cars just the same way we do. Well, today we're definitely going to do something different on the channel. Now, while we're definitely proud with the type of car reviews that we release on the channel, I noticed that we're missing one thing for the past 3 or more so years that we've been doing this. We're missing some sort of year-end retrospective. So today we'll be diving into our favorite rides, our favorite cars of the year, so that we can make sure that you guys know what types of cars that we appreciate. And I think you would agree, and sometimes you would disagree, but well, that's what the comment section is made for, right? Because sometimes it's important to hit pause, look back, and check out those cars that actually made us go, wow. Let's talk about the best value car that we have out there. The first honorable mention that I can think of is the Toyota Veloz. Now it starts at 1,098,000 pesos. Now it's one of the top specs, also has Toyota Safety Sense. It's got all these advanced features to it, and at that price point, it's definitely a good buy. And of course, we just released a video for the Chery Tiggo 2 Pro. New for 2025, the Chery Tiggo 2 Pro features a lot of improved styling. From the looks alone, you've got this aggressive looking checkered flag theme going on in the front, and most importantly, an improved engine and improved transmission, plus actual Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, the wireless type this time, which makes it quite a great value, especially at 840,000 pesos. I also want to mention the GAC POW, which definitely doesn't look like something that costs 1.2 million pesos. It's pretty much in the same price point as a top of the line subcompact sedan like the City and the Vios, but it gives you the specs and the feel of a compact sedan like the Civic and the Toyota Corolla Altis. But of course, for my money, if you're thinking about getting the best value car out there, in my opinion, it's going to go to the Honda Brio RS. That's right, the Honda Brio RS has been refreshed for this year, and it definitely looks like something that's a few ways away from its rivals. You get a 4-cylinder 1.2 liter engine. You can definitely feel the power coursing through the front wheels. It feels like a solid Honda. For my money, the best value that you can get out there for 853,000 pesos, that will definitely be the top of the line Honda Brio RS with the black top. Then of course, you don't just buy a car because of its specifications, because of its power, right? It's got to look good as well. So here's one of the most subjective of categories that we have here on this list, the most stylish award. It's definitely all about jaw-dropping looks. It's all about finesse and how many necks you can break as you drive. And here are a couple of my runner-ups and who we might think could be the winner. A lot of you guys might think of otherwise about this, but you've got the Ford Bronco. When the Ford Bronco was released earlier this year, it was just a stunner. I mean, it has this retro modern styling that harkens back to the old Broncos. This one here gives it a more modern touch, which adds a little bit more to its appeal. Another surprising entry in this section is the Mitsubishi X-Force. Guys, I know you have some reservations with the Mitsubishi X-Force, but I myself actually find it quite handsome. And with the exterior looks, it definitely does. I mean, you got the nice looking dynamic shield design that's been updated. It's one of the most cohesive designs that I've seen in a long time, and surprisingly from Mitsubishi too. But there has to be a winner in this segment, and that would be the Nissan Z. That's right, the Nissan Z has been one of the most surprising cars that's been released. You got these nice 19-inch raised alloy wheels. You got this blade, that samurai blade right there on the windowsill. That design, that coupe design, seems as timeless like the older Zs. But this definitely going to be my winner for the most stylish award, the Nissan Z. Up next, we've got the City Slicker Award. We're giving this award to a car that I think is best suited for the city. It's easy to navigate, easy to squeeze through hard traffic, those small, tiny roads here in the Philippines. I've always said that K cars are their best option right here. And here are some of the most capable cars when it comes to going through our very tight city streets. First of all, we're going to talk about my favorite, the Suzuki Espresso. The Suzuki Espresso just looks so cute. I mean, with its boxy design, you got 180 millimeters of ground clearance as well, and everything about it just screams cute. You got just enough space in the inside to put all your stuff in, even seats up to 5 people. I wouldn't fit 5 of myself inside of it, but it can seat up to 5 people. Plus, a nice short turning radius definitely gives you all the agility that you need going through our tight city streets. Then, of course, you've got the perennial Toyota Wigo. This time around, the Toyota Wigo looks a lot more refined, but still retains a lot of its city slicking agility. You can just chuck it around. It's got an adequately powered 1-liter 3-cylinder engine that powers the front wheels. And now you got a CVT, which makes it a lot smoother, a lot more slicker, especially when you're going down city streets. And looking to the electric side of things, you got the BYD Seagull. I mean, with its almost Lamborghini looks, it's got those aggressive headlamps. It's got the small wheelbase going on around it. Plus, being the fact that it's an electric, you get instantaneous torque. So pulling out into traffic, merging of course through those tight streets in there is a good idea, especially when it comes to just getting a small car. So the BYD Seagull, in my opinion, might be a good option, especially when if you're considering something electric. And it just looks so darn cute with its angry face there. It looks like something that it looks like a Pokemon, to be honest. Again, we have to pick a winner, and this time around our City Slicker award goes to the MG3. It's a small hatchback, not unlike the Honda City hatchback, but much smaller, but definitely bigger than a Toyota Wigo. But what makes it a perfect city slicker is the options that it gives you. I mean, you got a naturally aspirated engine option and a hybrid option. At the same time, it's got advanced driver assist systems, as well as a 360-degree camera system that you can use while traversing city streets. And it's small enough to squeeze through tight alleys, or if you need to just park it somewhere really quick, and giving you this stealthy look, especially when you're parking. So yes, the MG3 is a good option, and I think it definitely deserves the City Slicker award. We head on over to our next category, the Road Trip King. So the Road Trip King is definitely a car that you can take out for yourself or with the family or with the barkada, taking out on long drives, heading out to scenic locations. It doesn't have to be something that can do off-roading, as long as you, yourself, or everyone else that you're driving in the car with is comfortable, and you won't be worrying about anything about the trip except all about having fun. This is the category for that. The runner-ups for this, well, you got the BYD Sea Lion 6. The BYD Sea Lion 6, we actually took the BYD Sea Lion 6 and headed on out to the Ilocos regions and back in a single tank. And we didn't even think about the performance. We didn't even think about the range that we had left. All we knew was that we were enjoying our time inside the BYD Sea Lion 6, driving through heavy traffic, driving through freeways, up the mountain roads, even off the beaten path sometimes, but still we were able to enjoy our time. So the BYD Sea Lion 6 is one of our honorable mentions. Another honorable mention, the GAC M6 Pro. I like the GAC M6 Pro because of its new and improved riding dynamics thanks to this dual clutch transmission. Plus the second row captain seats are just to die for. I mean, look at it. It's definitely a very comfortable space to be in. Plus, you still have space on the third row for all your, for smaller people perhaps, but they can actually fit in there. I can actually fit in the third row seats thanks to the slidable second row seats. It's definitely something that you might want to opt for, especially when going on longer drives. And just because you go to the third row doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice the rear cargo space. It still has enough space to put in all your stuff in there, and you can even fold that third row seats flat on the floor, and you can fit even more stuff in. So imagine going out on a road trip with you and your friends or with your family, and you can put all your camping stuff there in the back. Perfect. The GAC M6 Pro might be a great option for that. But for me, there's a clear winner when it comes to the perfect road trip, and that is the Toyota Innova Zenix. That's right, the Toyota Innova has been improved and upgraded and actually changed now. It's now the Toyota Innova Zenix, and it no longer rides on a ladder or body on frame design. It now has a unibody design, giving it a much more versatile interior. You got a flatter floor to work with, giving it even more space. It's got second row captain seats like the M6 Pro, but it's got those bigger seats to it. It even has a third row where I can actually fit myself in the third row, and even a cargo space right there in the back. Plus the seats are definitely versatile enough so you can fit yourself, your friends, and your family, as well as your luggage. And it's huge. I mean, it's definitely huge on the outside especially, and on the inside, so it makes it the perfect road trip companion. So for 2024, the road trip king would be the Toyota Innova Zenix. Currently, we're in the 21st century, and everything is connected to the internet. Everything has tech infused into it. So we're going to put this next category as the tech lover's dream. So we're going to talk about the car with the most impressive technological features, whether it's the infotainment system, the entertainment system, your advanced driver assist systems, the safety features, everything on the inside that's related to technology. We're going to lump it together and give it to the most deserving car that we've driven for the past year or so. For our first honorable mention for this category, the BYD Sea Lion 6. As I mentioned, the BYD Sea Lion 6 is definitely a car, an SUV that's brimming with technology. You got this huge touchscreen infotainment system. Plus, that screen actually swivels either in a landscape orientation or a vertical orientation, which is definitely a nifty little trick that they've got right there. It means tech, and I like how it works. Then you got the Hyundai Ioniq 5. I mean, the Hyundai Ioniq 5 in itself, if you look at it on the outside, definitely looks like something from the 23rd century. It looks like a huge hatchback, but it's actually a crossover SUV. It's got that same retro modern styling as the Hyundai Ioniq 6, but in a way, kind of shaped in a way that looks like a Knight Rider car. And inside it's even more technology. You got those huge touchscreen infotainment systems, and since it's an electric car, you don't have to deal with a lot of internal stuff like as with ICE cars. So you got space right here in the front, space in the back, and again, if you're talking about technological advancements, tech-wise, the Hyundai Ioniq 5 is a great option. Another car that I think is definitely something that a techie would absolutely love is the Mitsubishi X-Force. So again, we're going back to the X-Force right here, but for good reason. Again, the X-Force is doing battle when it comes to price with probably one of the most cutthroat segments in the car industry, the small compact crossover SUV segment. And if it can't compete with those cars when it comes to full out performance, which Mitsubishi is definitely not trying to compete when it comes to that, it's competing with technology. You've got these huge screens right in front of you. You got these amazing Yamaha tuned speakers. You got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. That connects quite seamlessly, in my opinion. And yeah, inside the X-Force, it definitely looks as modern as the next car, but with some additional extras that brings Mitsubishi to the 21st century, and I absolutely love this car for that fact. But like I said, there's got to be a winner in each of these categories. And for the tech lover stream, we're going with the Ford Everest Titanium 4x4. Hear me out. When you're inside the Ford Everest, especially the Titanium 4x4 variant, the tech, you don't actually have to look for the technology yourself. The tech will grab right onto you. Now, as soon as you connect your Bluetooth to your car's infotainment system, whether it's Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, the Ford Sync system would automatically pop up on your phone, whatever phone that is, and acknowledge that either you're using Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and will automatically connect those particular features without even you having to deal with the hassle of going through the different menu systems. Everything seems so seamless technologically wise, and the car seems to know that you are using your phone and you want to connect your phone to your car in a seamless manner. So anyway, the car would then be an extension to your phone, even more so with Ford Pass. So with Ford Pass, you can actually control your Ford Everest in that car. You can start it up, you can activate the lights, activate the horn, unlock, lock it. So basically, again, you're bringing your car's controls with you. And how technologically advanced can that be? And the potential for even more features with Ford Pass is definitely almost unlimited, because you can actually check out your PMS schedules, connect with your Ford agent, connect with Ford customer service to it. Ford cars, and in this case Ford Everest Titanium 4x4, is definitely putting it up to the next level. So for the tech lovers dream, the Ford Everest 4x4 is their definite winner. Then head over to our next category, the family favorite. So with a family favorite, it has to be practical, comfortable, and spacious. But I want to add one more thing into that. It's got to look cool, because if you're going to pick up your kids from school, your car's got to look good as well, or else they're gonna people are saying, oh, you got an ugly car. So kids actually find that very important. Your car has to look good, especially when it comes to this. Anyway, it's called the family favorite for a good reason. First runner-up with the family favorite is the Suzuki XL7. The Suzuki XL7 is pretty much the SUV version of the Suzuki Ertiga, the MPV that we got right there. It actually looks quite good. The Suzuki XL7 kind of looks like in my opinion at least, and the outside, you can imagine yourself driving a 7-seater Suzuki Jimny. I mean, I'm reaching at this point, but in my eye, it definitely looks like something like that, especially with how it looks in the outside with this cream color scheme with those black over fenders. It's definitely aspiring to be a rugged SUV, and in the process, kind of looks like the Suzuki Jimny in that manner. And plus, on the inside, it's very comfortable. You got 7 seats. It's one of the few MPVs or SUVs or three-row cars that can actually fit on the 3rd row, which is something of a feat in my opinion, especially in these cars. So for a runner-up, Suzuki XL7, the hybrid version, can't lose. Let's not forget about Toyota Innova Zenix. This potentially could be another family favorite because of the aforementioned features that I told you from the previous category. You got spacious 7 seats, a tech all around. You got USB ports there sitting all around the car. You got cup holders galore. Plus, it looks cool, especially on the outside. Kind of looks like a mishmash of the Toyota Fortuner and the Toyota RAV4, and the side profile, the older Toyota Innova. So yes, a family favorite, Toyota Zenix, can't lose with that as well. But for my money, I believe that a good family favorite has to be at the same time easy on the budget as well. And in this case, you've got the GAC M6 Pro. That's right, the GAC M6 Pro, don't sleep on this car. Even though it looks like your standard MPV on the outside, but once you get inside, you're treated to some plush amenities. You got some nice luxurious seats. You got USB ports everywhere, as well as 2nd row captain's seat layout, which the kids are definitely going to enjoy. Plus you got USB ports working there as well, and a 3rd row seats that I said can actually fold down flat on the floor, so you can put all your stuff in there. Your kids will definitely enjoy sitting right there in the back, because they do have their own space to deal with, especially when going out on longer drives. They don't have to, pester each other or ask you wherever you're going, because they're sitting there comfortably on their 2nd row captain seats. And you yourself also have a lot of space right there in the front. The front row seats of the GAC M6 Pro seem to be a little bit isolated with the passenger side, the passenger cabin right there, giving some sort of separation between the 2 spaces. So again, with how versatile, how spacious, and how practical the car is, the GAC M6 Pro is your best bet when it comes to this one, and something that I could recommend. So for the family favorite award, this will go to the GAC M6 Pro. Then we go to the green award. So with the price of gas fluctuating up and down these days, getting a more fuel efficient car is definitely something that's on the top of a lot of people's buy lists. So what we're going to do right now is that we'll be checking out what the most fuel efficient car is. It could either be an EV, a hybrid, or a full ICE car, doesn't matter. as long as it's something that you can actually don't have to worry about your car's range at all. So we'll be checking out what the green award is. As long as it's super fuel efficient, you might never know what could win this particular segment. The runner-ups are the Nissan Kicks e-Power. A couple of my media friends actually took out the Nissan Kicks e-Power all the way to Bicol. I wasn't part of that drive, but I was told a lot of great things about it. They drove more than 1,000 kilometers going to and back, and they still have enough gas inside the inside the gas tank to go for some side trips and such. So the Nissan Kicks e-Power works in a different way from your standard hybrid engine. So while a hybrid engine has a sort of power split between the ICE engine and the small electric motor, with e-Power, the only thing powering, in this case, the front wheels is the electric motor. The gasoline engine has nothing to do with propulsion except to charge the battery that powers that electric motor. So you get the same benefits from driving an EV without the range anxiety. So you don't even have to charge the Nissan Kicks e-Power. All you gotta do is fill her up and go. Of course, you got the MG3 hybrid hatchback. As I've mentioned earlier, the MG3 is a smaller hatchback, a smaller hybrid vehicle, but still packs huge power and great range. So imagine having a car that has about 190 horsepower worth of power, and then you got an electric motor there as well, powering a small diminutive hatchback. So what that means is that savings galore. We were able to drive this once going out of town, and I can't wait to do a full review of this. Probably will be shooting that next year. So give me, guys, everything that you want to know about the MG3 before we review it, and I'll give you more information about it. But for now, it is one of our runner-ups when it comes to a greenness vehicle. The third is the Honda CR-V Hybrid. Wow, when we tested out the Honda CR-V Hybrid, I wasn't really expecting it to be as fuel efficient as it was. We got northwards of about 20 kilometers per liter. Mixed driving conditions, whether in the city or on the highway, you can't kill this thing. It's definitely something that gives you a lot of range for what you're getting, and what you have. And I probably bet that you won't be visiting your nearest gas station at least twice in a month in this thing. This is definitely one long marathon running car that you might want to appreciate. Plus, it's got one of the best amenities inside. You got plush interiors. You can definitely go the distance, and it has enough power and grunt to take you anywhere you want to go in a hurry. So yes, the CR-V Hybrid, one of our favorite runner-ups. But one car that's definitely going to take the cake when it comes to green vehicles, in my opinion, that's going to be the BYD Sea Lion 6. The BYD Sea Lion 6 is a compact crossover SUV, pretty much the same segment as the CR-V in this case, but it works in a different manner as a normal hybrid. This one right here is a range extended electric vehicle. So what this is that it primarily uses an electric motor, but once the battery runs out in the electric motor, it then activates the gasoline engine to charge up, pretty much like the Nissan Kicks e-Power, but instead of just charging up the battery for the electric motor, it actually assists the motor with running in itself. So in a single charge of that battery, which you can charge, by the way, it's pretty much like a plug-in. You can go northwards of 100 kilometers in it. It's definitely amazing. Plus, what we did is that we drove the BYD Sea Lion 6 all the way to Ilocos and back with some few side trips, and we still had a few kilometers left in its range. Potentially, you can actually use the BYD Sea Lion 6 and maybe visit your gas station once every month. And we're definitely going to test that out as soon as we get a full review unit, and we'll be posting it on the channel soon. So subscribe and make sure to hit that notification icon so you won't miss that video. So for the green award, this is going to the BYD Sea Lion 6. But as I mentioned, cars aren't just about practicality. It's not just about fuel economy. It's about how you make you feel and what it can do for you. So our next segment, our next category is our off-road warrior. That's right. this is going to be the award that goes to car that goes off the beaten path and gets back without even sweating. This is definitely an award that you off-road guys might be interested in. One of our honorable mentions is with the Jeep Wrangler Unlimited. The Jeep Wrangler Unlimited has been updated this year, featuring some refreshed styling right there in the front, but the most important part right there is a 2-liter turbocharged engine under the hood. So no more V6, no more V8s right there for the Jeep Wrangler. But what this does is that it changes the driving dynamic of the Jeep Wrangler Unlimited for the better. It now rides quite comfortably, but it doesn't diminish its off-roading capabilities at all. I mean, you still get this hardcore off-roading machine, but at the same time, you need to get to you actually need to get to the off-roading section. So once you're running on the pavement, it doesn't feel like you're driving a tank. This time around, it's very comfortable, quite fuel efficient as well. But more importantly, it can get you onto the beaten path and back in one piece and use it as a daily driver. Jeep is marketing it in a way that says it's the off-roading machine that you can daily, and I absolutely believe them. Another runner-up is the Ford Ranger in both the Wildtrak and the Raptor, guys. So whatever variant that you're getting, either the Ford Ranger Wildtrak 4x4 or the Ford Ranger Raptor, you get the same 2-liter bi-turbo diesel engine that's as capable as the day is long. I mean, you've got power for days, plus the suspension characteristics of either the vanilla Ranger in the Wildtrak or the upgraded Raptor is definitely capable. With the Ranger, it can get through those those struts and all your stuff in it. You can put it in the back, and with the Raptor, you can go through it at full speed. I mean, it's crazy what types of activities you can go and achieve in the Ford Ranger, in either the Wildtrak or the Raptor. So it's one of our runner-ups. Plus, it helps that it definitely looks so cool. And as we said in an earlier video, you really can't fake tough with a Ford Ranger. This one is one tough truck. Another runner-up is the Isuzu D-Max. The Isuzu D-Max has been upgraded and been updated for this year, and now includes a rear locking differential. I've always said that the Isuzu D-Max lacked one thing in its previous iterations, and that's a rear lock differential. Now, a lot of you guys probably won't be knowing what it's for. If you don't know what it's for, you definitely don't need it. But for off-roading enthusiasts, a rear locking differential actually helps out with making your truck even more capable of definitely doing off-road stuff safely and then getting back to where you need to be. So again, for 2024, the Isuzu D-Max has been upgraded. They've added and paired a rear locking differential to its already robust and capable 3-liter turbocharged diesel engine, giving it a little bit more capability, especially when going off-road. So another runner-up, Isuzu D-Max. But our favorite off-roading warrior for 2024 definitely has to go to the Jimny 5-door. The Suzuki Jimny 5-door. When I first saw it in pictures, I actually thought it was Photoshop. I mean, it looked like a small Jimny that was stretched out and they added some doors in it. And even when I saw it in the flesh, I mean, when I saw it in the metal, I still couldn't believe my eyes. But once we started heading on out in the Suzuki Jimny, the 5-door, boy howdy, was it one capable SUV. No matter how tiny it is, and then no matter how the road ahead looks, it was able to get through it without any problems, giving us the idea that, hey, maybe I can bring my friends along on an off-roading trip. Plus, it's got actual usable cargo space in the back, so you can put all your stuff in there. You got some accessories, you got some mounts that are ready to receive those accessories right there in the back. So for me, it's a no-brainer. It's got to be the Suzuki Jimny, and either the 3-door, but in this case, it's going to be the 5-door. So the Suzuki Jimny 5-door, it's going to be our off-road king. Now here's an interesting category that you guys might want to be interested in. It's our Most Improved Player Award. So if you're an NBA fan, you know what this award is all about. If the previous model, if the previous iteration of the car seems to be a little mediocre or such, this year they've given us enough features to warrant some sort of award for it, meaning that it has enough new features to differentiate itself from our earlier review, hence the Most Improved award. One honorable mention for this award is the Cherry Tiggo 2 Pro. Now, if you compare the Cherry Tiggo 2 Pro from the previous generation's model, it looks like night and day. I mean, even from the first video that we made from the Cherry Tiggo 2 Pro, it looked like a car from the 90s, to be honest. But this year, it's like Cherry was watching our videos and taking notes and then gave us what we wanted. So that's one of the reasons why we put the Cherry Tiggo 2 Pro as one of our runner-ups. Another one is the Honda City, both hatchback and sedan form. When they released this new Honda City hatchback, it didn't just have this upgraded styling on the outside. It had a Sonic Gray color, by the way, which is definitely a Type R color scheme that I appreciated to put in a small, cheap hatchback. They also gave it Honda Sensing. Another honorable mention is the Hyundai Tucson. For years, the Tucson had two engine options. You got a gasoline and diesel, and that's it. And this time, the Hyundai Tucson now has a hybrid engine. I'm just glad that the Hyundai Tucson finally learned to electrify itself away from the gasoline and diesel engine that it previously had, and we're excited to see what changes it has. But if there's one winner in this particular category that I'm going to give wholeheartedly to, it's the Corolla Cross G. The Toyota Corolla Cross G. I'm not talking about the V or the GRS, just the G. And wow, the amount of improvements that it's given this particular variant, this model, is just staggering. First of all, you've got the new hybrid engine. Gone is the old 1.8 liter naturally aspirated engine that we've seen in older Corollas. That 1.8 liter, it's definitely a bulletproof, venerable engine that a lot of people are definitely going to miss. But it definitely showed a little bit of its age when we were first reviewing the Toyota Corolla Cross G back then. And I'm glad that they put in a hybrid engine in the base model of the Corolla Cross. But not just that. On the exterior, you also have full LED lighting. You have LED headlamps, LED fog lamps, and LED tail lamps. The previous Corolla Cross G didn't have any of those. It probably had some LED fog lamps, but when it comes to lighting, you had halogens all around, which definitely felt like 2010. But in this case here, the Corolla Cross G had those new lighting implementations, improving the look, and of course with the front fascia now giving its best impression of a Lexus vehicle. It just looks amazing on the outside. Finally, also gets a nice huge touchscreen infotainment system with an upgraded user interface that didn't seem like it came out of Windows XP or Windows Vista. You also get a wireless charging pad, multiple USB ports. The old Corolla Cross didn't have any USB ports. It had just that one single USB-A right there on the head unit, but this time you've got multiple around here. You got two in the screen here. You got two right here on the armrest. It's just USB ports everywhere. It's something great. Plus you lose the foot brake, and now you get automatic brake hold and electronic parking brake. And most importantly, it now has vanity lights. That's how important vanity lights are for me, especially when you come to talk about cars in this price point. I mean, it's definitely something that not a lot of people need. It's just something that I like a car to have, especially if you're charging me this particular amount of money for a car. So hands down, the most improved car for this year over the previous model, Toyota Corolla Cross G Hybrid. Our next category is for the Compact Hero. It's going to be different from the City Slicker Award, because for the City Slicker Award, we're talking about, pure city driving. But what if you just want to have a small car, not just for city driving, but for extended trips out of town as well? You don't want to carry around driving a huge hulking SUV or a sedan. You just want something small. Right here are a couple of your runner-ups. First of all, you got your usual suspects, the Toyota Wigo. The Toyota Wigo with its 1-liter 3-cylinder engine is a capable performer now that it has a CVT to it. Plus, it's got a large interior. Toyota's definitely stepping up their interior game when it comes to their small cars, and the Toyota Wigo is proof of that. You also have the Suzuki Espresso. I've once taken the Suzuki Espresso out on a long trip. I wasn't expecting my trip to be that far off, And yeah, I was bringing the Suzuki Espresso at that time, and I still felt pretty comfortable. It's not going to be as comfortable if I brought out a full SUV or a sedan, but I'm glad that it took me to where I needed to be and back. So that's one option, the Suzuki Espresso. Then you come to the Toyota Rays. The Toyota Rays looks like a small mini Fortuner in my opinion, but it definitely looks so cute. I mean, people are buying the Toyota Rays not just because it's one of the cheapest crossover SUVs in Toyota's lineup, not just ironically, but because they actually love how it looks on the outside. Then you got two engine options. You got a 1.2 liter naturally aspirated engine and a 1 liter 3-cylinder turbocharged engine. So you got options when you want to choose from. I have tested the 1 liter 3-cylinder engine, and it feels a little rough to be honest, but again, that's just how a 3-cylinder turbocharged engine would act, especially when you got a crossover SUV that high up. But for now, the Compact Hero Award will have to go to the Kia Sonet. We were all surprised when Kia introduced the Sonet. It's definitely a crossover SUV that's smaller than the Kia Seltos, but it replaces the Kia Stonic. Now, there were a lot of Kia Stonic fans who were disappointed that that particular mark was being discontinued here in the Philippines, but once they saw what the Kia Sonet has to deliver, it was an instant winner for Kia Philippines. I mean, and why not? You've got a nice, solid, small SUV from Kia, which is a trusted brand. You got 205 millimeters of ground clearance. You got some advanced driver assist systems inside. You've got a 1.5 liter naturally aspirated engine that made enough power and torque to get you around. It was a good small car. So if you're looking for a small car, the Kia Sonet is definitely a good option, and that's why it's our compact hero. Then you come to our daily driver award. So when I say a daily driver, if you're gonna get one car throughout your entire life, probably throughout your entire lifetime, you're gonna use that car for going to work, going to school. If you're gonna use this car for probably some track days, or you're gonna use this car going to the red carpet, it's got to be that versatile Swiss Army knife of a car. So here are a couple of options that I think you might want to consider. One of my runner-ups for the Daily Driver Champ Award is, of course, the Toyota Corolla Cross. The Corolla Cross isn't the most stylish, doesn't look the sportiest, but it definitely is a one reliable crossover SUV. It can definitely take you from here to there. It has the looks to match it as well. You got different variants available, from the base G model to the really sporty and aggressive looking GRS model. So yes, if you're looking for a capable daily driver that's good on gas, and of course has a lot of space inside, the Corolla Cross is a good option. So we got another dark horse right here in this category. It's the MG ZS. Not even the MG ZS-T, the turbocharged variant, the normal regular MG ZS. And here's why I think this is a perfect daily driver. First of all, it's affordable. If you're looking for a daily driver that you can probably drive around for an extended period of time, it's comfortable. It's fairly capable, especially when it comes to its horsepower and torque rating, because of the 1.5 liter naturally aspirated engine and the new CVT. Yes, that's right. It's got a new continuously variable transmission mated to it. It's got the size to match. I mean, it's supposedly a subcompact crossover SUV, but because of that size, it kind of resembles the exterior dimensions of a Mazda CX-5 in my opinion. So if you're looking for a small, affordable crossover SUV that you can use as a daily, the MG ZS is a viable option. And I think it's a good budget option if you're looking for something that's simple, easy to drive, and easy on the eyes. Now, until a couple of weeks ago, I might not be considering the winner of this particular category, or the daily champ as I call it. But with the release of the Honda Civic EHEV, so on the Honda Civic RS EHEV, it totally changed my perception. So my winner for the Daily Champ, of course, what's it going to be? It's going to be the Honda Civic, especially with the RS EHEV variant. I mean, why not? It's the first time that we've seen a Honda Civic, at least sold locally here in the mass market, with a hybrid engine. A couple of my friends have taken out the Honda Civic EHEV out on a longer drive, and they can't stop singing praises about it. Remember the criteria that I told you earlier about what we're looking for in this segment. You can use this as your daily driver to work, check. To school, check. Track day, it's a Civic, so yes, check. You can take us out on track day. And the current generation Honda Civic looks elegant enough and huge enough, doing a Honda Accord impersonation, that you can actually use this as something that can take you to a red carpet or even during formal occasions. Yes, if you're thinking about a good daily driver, what else but the Civic? The next category, the Speedster Award. Oh, you guys are looking forward to this, I'm sure. I know I am. I mean, all right, so the Speedster Award goes to the car that gave us the most adrenaline pumping experience while we're driving it. And here are our here are honorable mentions before we go to the champ. So a couple of honorable mentions. Of course, the love of my life, the Honda Civic Type R. As you can see, even though I'm pretty much biased with the Honda Civic Type R, it's something that I would take all day, something I would definitely use even as a daily driver. It's still not the winner. You'd probably be wondering what the top spot would be. But right here, one of the our honorable mentions is the Civic Type R. It's a beast of a car, but at the same time, still a Civic through and through. You got 4 doors. You can seat 4 people. You got a 2-liter turbocharged engine, a manual transmission, and it looks like it was designed by it was designed by me. It definitely looks like something that looks cool. It looks like a Honda Civic, sure, but some added features here and there from Need for Speed Underground, and it looks amazing. It performs quite well too for a front-wheel drive engine. So, I mean, a front-wheel drive vehicle. So that's it. Our first honorable mention, Honda Civic Type R. Of course, what category won't be without its dark horse? This one right here, one of our dark horses in this segment, is the BYD Seal. That's right. This electric vehicle, I can finally call it one of the contenders in our Speedster category, and why not? This one here, it's got a 2-engine setup. I mean, a 2-motor setup. One powering the front wheels, the second powering the rear. But the most important part, it goes from 0 to 100 in just 3.8 seconds. That's right, 3.8 seconds in an electric car. That is insane. I mean, when we tested it out, it just had so much power and torque that we wouldn't even know what to do with it. And it's an electric car, so one of our dark horses in this particular category, the BYD Seal. But the winner in this category, we'll have to hand it to Nissan. It's the Nissan GT-R. The Nissan GT-R has been updated for this year. Features a couple of styling updates here and there, but those things are definitely not important. I mean, you see a GT-R, you know what a GT-R is, but the way this thing performs is just absolutely insane. You got 570 horsepower, 637 newton meters of torque. Now, this is definitely a work of art. Now, if some people appreciate visual artistry, it sure has that, sure, but this is definitely an older car, so when it comes to looks, it might not tug at a lot of heartstrings. People might tend to lead themselves to other performance cars, but this sure is a performance artist, like what Nissan calls it. You've got that much power and torque. It still is Godzilla through and through. You got an all-wheel drive system, and there are no compromises when it comes to this car. Seeing that you're actually comparing and that this GT-R is out to compete against the likes of Porsche, and heck, even you can drive this side by side with a Ferrari and still wouldn't be out of place. This is the reason why this is our Speedster Award. So the Nissan GT-R for 2024 is top of the heap, and that's something that I would like to get my hands on again. Our next category is the Cargo King. So when it comes to loading up on a lot of cargo and stuff, you definitely want to make sure that your car is capable of doing so. First, our first honorable mention in this one is the Mitsubishi Expander. The Mitsubishi Expander. People have been opting for the Expander to actually use this as something to ferry their family and their extended family right across town or even out of town. So if you want to get the best option, but best budget option in this particular segment when it comes to cargo, carrying around stuff, luggage, family, the Mitsubishi Expander, and by extension, the Mitsubishi Expander Cross is definitely a viable option. And we probably talked about this car for a while now, the Toyota Xenix. So the Toyota Innova Xenix definitely has a lot of space to work with. You got second row captain seats. A lot of people have been asking for a Toyota Innova Xenix without second row captain seats, but thankfully if you do need a lot more space, you can actually fold the rear seats flat and then move the seats forward, and then you can put a lot of cargo in there. So another honorable mention in this Cargo King category, the Toyota Innova Xenix. Next up, of course, is the Suzuki Ertiga. I've mentioned this before, and I'm going to say this again. The Suzuki Ertiga, and by extension, the Suzuki XL7, has one of the most usable third row seats that I have ever sat on. And I'm surprised that it came from a compact MPV, which is smaller than the Toyota Innova and the Toyota Innova Xenix. So if you're thinking about bringing your large family, and when I say large family, if you got siblings or if you got family members who are about 6 feet tall, the Ertiga is definitely a good option. Plus, you can actually fold the rear seats down again, put all your cargo luggage inside, no problems. So when it comes to trying to maximize as much space as possible inside a small package, you got the Suzuki Ertiga. But if we're being real here, one of the most capable cargo haulers out there, which is not a truck, is definitely the Isuzu Mu-X. Now, when I first reviewed the Isuzu Mu-X, I really wasn't expecting a lot from it. I mean, it's still a ladder or body on frame type of SUV, so I wasn't expecting that they'd have a lot of space. But Suzuki's engineers and designers were able to do something smart in it. They actually lifted the floor up just a tad little bit, giving a little bit more commanding view of the road. But what this does is that it actually creates a lot more space, or flat space, for you to put all your stuff in it. So what this does is that when I tried to sit myself in the third row of the Isuzu Mu-X, I was able to fit in there with no problems. Plus, even with the third row seats up, it still has a lot of usable cargo space right there in the back, making it one of the more capable cargo haulers, especially in this pickup truck-based SUV space. So yeah, if you want to get a mid-sized pickup truck-based SUV that can bring along yourself and your family and your cargo and your stuff and move it, probably use it as a mover in itself, the Mu-X is unmatched in this category. So for the Cargo King, we're going to give this to the Isuzu Mu-X. We're heading over to the home stretch of this video, and this is a monster of a video. I want to appreciate you guys watching this. So if you're still here, make sure that you like or dislike this video. Leave us a comment and tell us how we're doing. And I really appreciate any type of interaction from you guys. And that's why we make these videos anyway. It's for you guys, so that you know exactly what your next purchase would be like. And we want to see you driving your next car. So back to the video. Our next category is the Future Forward Award. So these days, the car industry seems to be experiencing a sort of a shift. So right now, from ICE engines, we're now shifting ourselves to more electrified options, whether it be full electric, hybrids, plug-in hybrids, range extenders. As long as it's a hybrid, or as long as it has an electric motor in it, it's definitely helping itself out. Now, one more thing about the Future Forward Award is that we seem to be experiencing some sort of convergence between the internet, technology, and the car industry. So what we're seeing right here are cars that are that looks more into the future, that definitely uses technology more to its advantage, and looks like something that's out of a Stanley Kubrick film. So here are a couple of honorable mentions in our Future Forward Award. So our first honorable mention in this category is the MG4. The MG4, in my opinion, is definitely one future forward looking car, electric car, because it's a full EV, not just because it's a full EV, but because of what it represents for the brand. I mean, right now, EVs, if we're looking at EVs, they look like futuristic spaceships that came out of the mothership. But this one right here looks like a proper hatchback. also priced like one too. So the MG4 in itself was what I believe the future of electric cars would look like. It's basically cars that look like cars, that are priced like cars, and at the same time it gets a lot of traction because of what it is. People don't need to, I mean, car companies don't need to alienate people when it comes to these types of electric vehicles. They could just offer us they could probably offer us a retro inspired car or a retro car and then give it some electronic specs and then sell it to us and people would buy it. And that's why I think the MG4 is a good runner up in this segment, because it represents what I believe electric cars or EVs would be in the future. It doesn't. So we get the MG4 right here as one of our runner-ups, but our next few runner-ups are definitely future forward looking for definitely totally reasons. First of all, you got the EV6, and basically its sister, the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Both the EV6 and the Hyundai Ioniq 5 share the same platform. People are definitely know about that, sure, but their execution is certainly different from each other. While the Ioniq 5 features a retro modern styling, the EV6 from Kia shows off what cars might look like in the next 15 years. So you've got your electric motors inside, but what I love about both of these vehicles is how they integrate the infotainment system, the entertainment system, with how you control your car. So everything that you need to know about your particular vehicle is right there, right in front of you, and at the same time giving you all the input that you need to drive. So when you need to control your region, when you need to control the drive mode that you have, that's what we have with the Ioniq 5 and the Kia EV6. Again, both great EVs. So for me, the winner in this particular segment of future forward-looking cars, it's got to be the BYD Seal. It definitely represented more of like a world beater from the brand. It had Tesla-like performance. It had Hyundai and Kia-like interiors, and definitely looks more like a sports sedan than an EV, especially when you look at it, and it performs like one as well. It definitely is overflowing with tech, but its performance really speaks for itself. If the future of electric cars or the future of mobility looks like this, then sign me up. It's definitely one car that might definitely convince me to move over to electric because of just how it looks and because of how it performs. So when it comes to the Future Forward awards, no doubt the BYD Seal takes the cake. And finally, here we come, the last category of this of our Zigwheels Awards, Editor's Choice. So I get to choose any car that I want, which represents the best of 2024 and by some respect 2023 as well. It's something that really grabbed my attention. I just want to say that every car that we reviewed here in Zigwheels Philippines really gave me some sort of I really had some sort of personal connection to it, thinking that this might be my next car. All right, so this might be my next car. So you'd be hard pressed to find a bad car these days. It's just that these four cars that I'm going to mention right now, of course, 3 honorable mention and 1 winner, they're the ones that really stood out and really grabbed my attention. So without further ado, here we go. The first honorable mention in this one here, the Nissan Kicks e-Power. I mean, with the Nissan Kicks e-Power, as I mentioned earlier, it's got your electric performance, but without range anxiety. The fact that I don't have to think about charging my vehicle, that in case I lose some range to it, I can just go ahead to the nearest gas station and fill her up without any problems, is definitely a godsend to me. I mean, again, when it comes to electrified mobility, you want to be as efficient as possible, but at the same time, it has to be usable. And this is even more than usable. You've got the instantaneous power and torque from an EV without the range anxiety, and it looks quite fetching as well with these nice solid lines and looks of going over all it. So yeah, our first honorable mention in my editor's choice, Nissan Kicks e-Power. The second car I'd like to mention right here is the GAC MQ Hybrid. So there's no doubt in my mind that the GAC MQ is quite a looker. When I first saw it, it actually looked like a concept car, but when they first released it, there was no hybrid or electric option. It had the looks of an electric car, but without the drivetrain to follow through with it. And when they introduced the hybrid option of the GAC MQ, it was like finally they've given the GAC MQ the justice that it needed. It now had a hybrid engine underneath the hood. It had the power and the fuel efficiency to match it. It was just a match made in heaven. So if you're thinking about getting a larger crossover SUV like the CRV hybrid, or even the RAV4 hybrid, or even go as far as getting a Lexus hybrid, if you're not ready to spend that much money on that, try the GAC MQ. The GAC MQ is definitely an eye-opener for me, that you don't have to spend northwards of 2 million pesos just to get that hybrid luxury space experience that you're looking for in a hybrid or electrified sedan, should I say SUV. The GAC MQ will be a great option for you. It drives great. It definitely drives differently from the regular MQ, but in a good way. This is a great option, and I can't stress that enough. The third honorable mention that I have right here is the Honda Civic RS EHEV. I mean, I am a Honda fan, but more importantly, I am a Honda Civic fan. And the fact that they introduced this amazing hybrid option for the Honda Civic means the world to me, because Honda Civics are definitely known to be good daily drivers, but they are not the most fuel efficient. They might be fuel efficient when it comes to highway drives. Maybe other countries, they say, oh, this is a fuel efficient car, but that's not always the case with the Honda Civic, especially when you're driving through heavy Philippine or Manila traffic. And giving it a hybrid option just makes it almost a perfect car for me. Usually in the past, if you tell me which one would you choose, a regular Civic or a Type R, I'd say Type R right away. But now this particular car is so good that I'd probably give a little bit of pause before I select the Type R. That's how good the Civic EHEV is. So for our third honorable mention, Civic EHEV. And now we come to my editor's choice. I mean, with all the cars that we reviewed this year, we've got all these sports cars, you got these SUVs, sedans, hatchbacks. One car really stood out to me, and I've said this before when we first saw this car, and I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. My choice for this year's Car of the Year Zigwheels Awards is the Toyota Corolla Cross. The Toyota Corolla Cross has always symbolized what Toyota means to me, right, as a car brand. It's not flashy, it doesn't have the best performance, but at the same time, it gives you everything that you need for your daily drive. That's a key point to it, the daily drive. Corollas, and in this case the Corolla Cross, have always held some sort of unique feature of being underappreciated when it comes to the looks, when it comes to the performance and all that. And I think that's by design, because it's trying to come across as a car that is attainable by anyone. I mean, if you gave the Toyota Corolla, or in this case a Corolla Cross, too much on it, they'd probably be rebranding it as something else, like the Toyota Corolla Sprinter Turbo. I mean, it had a real drive, it was sporty, it wasn't a true Corolla. Sure, it was a performance Corolla, but it wasn't a Corolla through and through, something that you can't daily. And then you got the Corolla GR, the GR Corolla. They had to put the words GR right in front of it just to differentiate itself from the normal Corolla. Toyota, as a global brand, was built around the Corolla, and the Corolla Cross right now actually pretty much carries that torch right now, because not a lot of people are looking for sedans these days, and they're looking for an SUV or a crossover option, and that's what we had right here. The previous Corolla Cross that was made available here had a lot of shortcomings, in my opinion. It didn't have the best touchscreen. It basically is almost like an incomplete car for me. But this time, though, even with the entry-level G variant, it had everything that I wanted out of a personal car, out of a car that I think everyone should get. Got the nice touchscreen, great speakers, nice phone integration. It's got great exterior looks, plus the hybrid motor was just amazing. I mean, Toyota's been known to be making hybrid engines for the past, what, 30 or so years, and right now they seem to be humming along quite fine, and I definitely appreciate that. So without speaking too much about it, my choice for this year, Toyota Corolla Cross. Ooh, and this video has been going on for so long, it's gonna be quite quite a task to edit it. So again, all the cars that we've listed right here, all the categories, are separated by chapters, so I'm going to make sure of that. So if you need to check them out, go ahead to the description box below, and you can actually check more details about those cars. We'll be putting some links of our previous reviews, as well as some articles on the Zigwheels.PH website. And I've been talking for quite a while now, but like I said, I enjoy making these types of videos. I enjoy reviewing these cars for you, and I'm glad that we were able to look back and see how these cars stack up with each other. And I just like to appreciate you guys watching. I want to know what you think. Do you agree with the choices that we made right here? Drop me a comment in the comment section down below, and give us what your list would be. What would your top choices would be? And if you want to crucify me for choosing the Corolla Cross as my car of the year, you are free to do so. But while you're at it, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification icon so you wouldn't miss any of our videos. I'm happy that we were able to make this type of video, and I hope you are too. Once again, this is Roy Roberts from Zigwheels.PH. See you guys next time.